Maybe you've heard it. I've heard it many times. Parents are not supposed to bury their children. Maybe even greater for grandparents. You're not supposed to bury a grandchild. Well, found out that wasn't the way it worked for me. Psalm 90, verse 10, the first part says, "As for the days of our life, they contain 70 years, or if due to strength, 80. I think many people tend to claim that as a promise, that I'm guaranteed 70 years. Well, we found out that's not true. I was just 40 years old. My daughter, who just turned 18 a few days earlier, died in a car accident. On our way home from college, it was about an hour away from our home in Lansing, Michigan. You can feel, we'd heard years ago, you can choose whether to be angry and feel cheated out of what you lost, or you can be grateful for what you did have. In this case, we could say, God stole 52 years of her life from me. I was supposed to have 70. But we chose to focus that we did have 18 years and 3 days of life with Christy. The house we lived in at the time was at a big city park behind it. And I saw this cop car driving down the road behind us. And it was kind of unusual. And then I said, I wonder what he's up to. And then he pulled in our driveway. So I went out to meet him. And I think how much easier it was for me to come out to his car than for him to come knocking on the door with 5 people inside to deliver his message. But he went through the routine questions. Is your name Russell Isham? Do you have a daughter named Christina? I regret to inform you she was in an accident. I regret to inform you that she did not survive the accident. Whoa. After the initial shock, it was like, well, I guess there isn't any nice way to say that, is there? He said, yeah, it's not the kind of message I like to bring on a Sunday morning. So I went in the house, and with all the truth and compassion of someone who'd just been shocked, I gathered the family together, my wife and 3 boys, and almost as blunt as the officer was of me, I threw it out to him. Our daughter had talked the day before about wanting to come home and go to church with us, and my wife has a distinct memory of telling her, oh, you don't have to. And so even before the policeman had showed up, we've been talking about, did Christy, maybe she wasn't there when we woke up. Maybe she decided to stay. So I think the start of my conversation was, well, Christy did try to come home. She didn't make it. She fell asleep at the wheel. She'd been awake for over 24 hours before she started the journey. It's about an hour from the college she was at to our home in Lansing, Michigan. Early on, I realized how everybody grieves differently. My wife just wanted to be alone. I asked her, how alone? Alone would be fine. My youngest, who wasn't even 13 yet, he just sit crying his eyes out. My response was sincerely like King David when he was told that the baby, Bathsheba's baby, was dead. I wanted to go to church. I wanted to go worship God. So I called my pastor. I told him what had happened. People don't know what to do. People don't know what to say. One friend handed me $50. What's that got to do with anything? Except it was something he could do. The compassion of the congregation immediately poured out. It's only later in the day that I saw a news interview that they had went to my pastor's house. He was the pastor and principal of the school where our daughter graduated high school, Christian school. They interviewed him and his wife. And I look back on that later, and that man loved us. I didn't realize how deep that man loved us until I saw the pain on his face in that interview. But something his wife said in that interview that has always stuck with me, I've repeated it many times. This is the time to remember what we know about God and not get caught up in what we do not know. But anyway, that was the start of the reality of life without Christy, our 18-year-old daughter. It actually happened on September 11th, 1994. So there's a phrase that Pastor Rodney uses frequently that I really appreciate and agree with. He'll say, this, whatever the situation is, this situation didn't catch God by surprise. And I totally agree. It speaks to the sovereignty of God, and God knows everything that touches our life. Even when you lose a loved one, like a daughter at 18 years of age. I remember particularly we had like a wake, a time, an open mic at the church we attended where the family was able to come in and share memories of Christy. And one cousin in particular was very animate. I mean, she just was hard-nosed. Christy is. Christy's not gone. Christy is. Christy is still alive. Christy is in the presence of Christ. And she just really had a clear spirit. She is a good Christian spiritual gal. She just reinforced to everybody the concept that Christy's not gone. There is eternal life. And this was actually the basis of Paul's words in 1 Thessalonians 4:13. He starts out with, I don't want you to be uninformed about those who've fallen asleep, those who've died. He didn't want you to be worrying and fretting what's going to happen to them. He didn't want you to grieve as those still have new hope, because in the resurrection of Jesus Christ, we have hope. I have the hope of seeing my daughter again. We'll see our parents again. We'll still see Jesus, but we also get to see our loved ones. That's the hope of the resurrection we have in Jesus Christ.